Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. Hope you're all having a great day. Today we have racing in the NASCAR Legends Series for the championship race. We have some Xfinity Series racing at the Charlotte Roval, plus we have an elimination race here for the round of 12 in the Cup Series at Talladega Superspeedway, where we come in 16 points above the cut line. So a lot to look forward to with that one as we try to stay in the playoffs and fight into the round of 8 and hopefully go for the final 4, of course, as we would come through into Eldora though for this championship finale in the NASCAR Legends Series. Now, not a single win all season for myself, and we missed the playoffs due to a game glitch, which is very unfortunate, and I guarantee that it'll probably happen next season too with this just random simulation of a race that doesn't even count me for positioning towards the end of that regular season. So it's really weird how that works, but I was scrapping it out up front early on here in Eldora, trying my best to just get that first win in the final race of the season, but it just didn't seem like it was going to be meant to be, as you're going to see out of turns 4 side by side with Lation. There's some contact with him and we nearly crashed the car down the front stretch into turns 1, and that was all it took to really unsettle us and kind of put us back further down the field, as Michael Cozy Jr. right there would get up in front of us. Now as we came through a little bit later, about halfway through this race, it was a 0-2 of Christopher Bell running out front, but it was Jonathan Cadell who was in command for the championship battle late in this race over Ricky Stenhouse Jr. as well as Jeff Gordon and Kyle Larson. Now as I was battling it out with Moonhead there, Travis Brown, as we have been rivals throughout the season, here it came Dale Jr. up the inside, but then coming to 2 laps ago there we had Jonathan Cadell. Right now he's been running really well all season, but all it's going to take today for a championship is going to be an 8th or 9th place finish, which was really surprising here as we came through to start the final lap. I got forced into the wall 3 wide by both Travis Brown as well as Joey Stone here as we came through turns 1 and 2 for the final time, going down this back straightaway. One final chance this season to just sail it off into the corner, full send into the side of Joey Stone just about, but we keep it clean there. Jonathan Cadell wins the championship. A content creator finally pulls it off now as we finished in 9th place here in Eldora. So not the best finish in the world for us, as Christopher Bell of course wins the race, but it was still a fun season nonetheless. I had a lot of fun. It would have been nice if we could have picked up at least one win, but it just wasn't meant to be, and we'll have to try again next season, which of course is going to be the official final season of the NASCAR Heat 5 career mode. Now coming though into the Xfinity Series here for the Charlotte Roval with Paul Menard behind the wheel. Nothing to really worry about for Paul now, as we're well inside the playoffs above the cut line, so it was just hang on and survive. And unfortunately he failed inspection a couple of times, so he actually had to start at the back of the grid here for the start of this race. But Paul Menard actually has a good bit of road course expertise, so I was expecting a good result nonetheless. Not maybe a top 10, but at least a top 20, even top 15. And as we came through a little bit later in this race, he was moving his way through the order, no problem whatsoever, up the inside of the 18 of Riley Herbst there as he goes through turns 3, oval turn 3 and oval 4 that is now, as he would also make a little bit of a cheeky 3 wide move right there up the inside of the 15, kind of caught him off guard, and he was just continuing to move forward now. Very late in this race, got up the inside of the number 20 there through oval 1 and just continued to move forwards there above Chris Buescher. Then now on the final lap into the final chicane, picked up some damage here and there right on the back of the 19 of Roman Grosjean there coming to the line. It wasn't quite a top 10 for Paul Menard, but it was very close there. It was a 12th place finish there as Kimi Räikkönen in the number 98 car for Stuart Haas Racing picks up the victory. So not surprising whatsoever to see Räikkönen pick up a win here on a road course. Roman Grosjean there outside of the top 10. That one was a bit surprising. Menard so close, like I said, to that top 10 as he is 47 points above the cut line, and that of course gets us into the next round of the playoffs for the final 8, as you saw the 4 drivers that got eliminated right there after the Charlotte Roval. As we come through now into the Cup Series at Talladega, no qualifying here. I decided we're not even going to bother qualifying anymore for these plate tracks unless it's like the Daytona 500, just for immersion purposes, because we know we're going to qualify last. There's the playoff standing. So Brandon Jones, he is locked in here in this elimination race with a win in the first race of the round there at Chicagoland. Now, as you see, we are 16 points to the good. Lewis Hamilton had such a good race with just luck with strategy that he is 18 points to the good, but Joey Logano is 12 points below the cut line. Burton, Kraus, and Larson 16, 17, 18 points below the cut line. They have to beat the McLaren of Eric Jones, the 2311 driver of Bubba Wallace, and myself, as well as Lewis Hamilton if they want to get into the playoffs here, as we have one heck of a day here of racing at Talladega Superspeedway. The elimination race to decide the final 8 drivers who will be in the playoffs is underway here now, as we are at the very back of the grid from 37th place, but Tyler Reddick, our future teammate at Roush LeBron, almost Keselowski Racing. I don't know if I'm going to put Keselowski in that Roush LeBron name yet or not, because that would be just a very long name. Roush LeBron Keselowski. We'll have to wait and see. Let me know in the comments, actually, if you would like it to be Roush LeBron Keselowski. As you guys know, part of the storyline, LeBron James came in as a major investor into the Roush Fenway team, as it originally was called, coming into this season, and that's why we've seen a bit of a boost in performance from them, especially with that 17 of Christopher Bell, and now Bell is going to be our teammate when we go to that team next season, but now they picked up us and they picked up Tyler Reddick, so a current star with ourselves in the 24, and then Reddick a future, potential star if it all goes to plan, and of course bringing Brad Keselowski over, who's retiring from the 41 car this season, that's going to be a big asset to that team as well. I do have a actual special paint scheme made for Brad Keselowski in that final race of his Cup Series career coming up at Homestead Miami Speedway. It is actually going to be a throwback to his 2012 paint scheme. It's not exactly a replica, but it's pretty close now, so I'm excited for you guys to see that. Actually a scheme that I made myself, so I'll be showing that, of course, when we do end up at Homestead Miami Speedway here in just, 5 episodes time, actually, I think, or 4 episodes time after today in Talladega here. Going down this back straightaway, we were just kind of settled in here on the inside line in the 33rd position, riding behind the number 6 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and then we would get up the inside of him now on lap 3 into turn 3. Is up front, it was the McLaren of Sam Mayer. As of right now, McLaren has all 3 of their drivers remaining in the playoffs, and they were close to losing a couple of them, like Eric Jones especially in the last round, and I mean right now at risk of losing him again in this round unless he puts up a good solid day and has none of the guys below the cut line have a tremendous day. So that's the goal for us, is to just have a decent day. We don't need stage points in stage 1 and 2 to advance it in the next round. We just need to make sure at least get a top 10, I would say, in the 3rd and final stage, and we're going to comfortably get ourselves into the final 8 and fight it out for a potential final 4 spot at those 3 tracks of Kansas, Mid-Ohio, as well as Iowa. That round in itself is going to be another very interesting round of playoff racing. Kansas is either hit or miss. Then we go to Mid-Ohio. Last season, Iowa's horrendous at Mid-Ohio. And then Iowa, another hit or miss track. We've actually had a chance to win there. Then we've had a race that's gone horrendous there. So not sure exactly what to expect from that round of 8, but we'll have to wait and see how many points. Of course, we are above the cut line at the end of today, and that'll really kind of set our mindset going into that next round of 8, if that's, of course, even if we make it now. And we were doing a good job here in the opening lap, so 5 laps to go here in stage 1, up inside the top 10 behind our rival of Joey Logano, now into the top 5. They're passing Zane Smith in the number 8 there for Richard Childress Racing, passing the AlphaTauri of Brandon Jones, who's locked in to the next round, as we're going to make a move to the right-hand side of our rival of Joey Logano, and shocker there, he's going to actually try and crowd us up towards the wall. We make contact with the 22 of Logano. We came together in Darlington. We come together again in Talladega, this time a lot more risk on the line. There was a huge pack of cars. Contact made with the 43 of Gutierrez as well, but the caution comes out here in Talladega. Damage has been done to our car, only 5 seconds, so it is easily repairable, but nearly a huge moment with Joey Logano, and that set the tone right there that we gotta be a lot more careful. We could have just wiped out a lot of cars just because I was refusing to lift for my rival of Joey Logano. That was not all on him. That was definitely on me as well. I had every opportunity in the world to back out of that mess with Logano, but I decided to keep my foot in it. So we lose 7 spots repairing the car, and we gave up potential stage points just because I didn't want to back down to the number 22 of Joey Logano, who is in a position where I'm not surprised he's doing that. He has to have a very, very strong run and maybe even win today if he wants to make it into the next round of the playoffs here. Now just 2 laps remain in this first and opening stage after we get back underway from that recent caution. McLaren still running really well. They're up front now. Chase Elliott, of course, always going to be strong when it comes to a track like Talladega, Daytona. Chase Elliott in general has been strong all season long with McLaren, probably the best driver of the season if he doesn't have the most wins now as we start the final lap here from Talladega Superspeedway in this first and opening stage. There's Joey Logano now all the way on the outside, so he's not even going to get stage points at this point as we come through up the inside of the number 47 of Tony Bradinger. Daniel Suarez there for going racing 3 wide in the middle. We got help coming from behind with the number 44 of Lewis Hamilton here, so that's going to be a nice help because we have currently no draft in front of us to actually pull off of now as we go off into 3 and 4 for the final time here in Stage 1. Is close. We have a chance to get stage points still, but now we get closer to the back of the 77 Yellow Heart Chevrolet Camaro right there as you got Ross Chastain on the outside of the number 99 Trackhouse Chevrolet Camaro into the tri-oval for the final time. It's going to be close for those stage points, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Cole Custer will come through to win Stage 1 for Kevin Harvick Incorporated. We cross the line for 14th place here in the first and opening stage. I'm sorry, boys. If I wouldn't have gotten into it with the 22, we could have possibly won the whole thing right there. So, my bad. I gave up those points that could really hurt us in the end. So I'll focus on trying to do better here the rest of the day. There you hear myself on the radio to the team there. Just a little bit of disappointment there after putting myself in trouble and hurting the team there with stage points. An interesting strategy here. Looks like 2 or 3 guys were deciding they were actually going to stay out, including our Gordon Hendrick Motorsports teammate of Alex Bowman. Now as we get underway for the start of the second stage here from Talladega Superspeedway, and now for the final time in this round of 12 from Talladega, it is time to get amped. There you have the AMP segment there from Talladega Superspeedway. Now just 10 laps to go in the second stage, and we had a very, very good restart up inside the top 5, even top 3 here alongside the 38 of Todd Gilliland. Kyle Busch there in the top 5 as well. Won his first race of the season last episode in Darlington. There was so much going on in that Darlington episode, and eventually we got a somewhat decent run going for us, and then I threw it all away at the end of it now. So that was very unfortunate as we made a move there up the inside, kind of left our Gordon Hendrick teammate there, Bowman, hanging, and we take the lead away here from Talladega. So can we hold on to the end of stage 1? That's the next question. It's all going to depend on managing these runs, because if it's just too wide, it's not really hard to defend over the pack because you can really hold them off and just cover them back and forth, because those runs kind of transition as the caution, of course, as you can see, is out. But when it's 3 lines, when it's 3 wide, just the whole pack deep, you got to manage 3 lines at once. So when it's just run by run transitioning between 2 lines, like I said, it's easy to manage. But when it's 3, you usually got 2 lines going at the same time, so it's pretty much impossible to defend at that point. So I was really hoping it was just going to stay calm and 2 wide as we get back underway about the halfway point of this second stage here now. So doing everything we need to be doing, and if we can just get out of stage 2 with a stage victory, not only does that help us today with giving us 10 extra points, that's going to make us even more comfortable going into stage 3, but that will give us an extra playoff point that can take us into the next round and help us just by a little bit. Every single point at this point in the season, you guys know, matters. But now as we came to the lap 9, I was talking about not wanting to see 3 wide because then you got to manage 3 runs at once, but we cover off our rival of Joey Logano. I decided to block him specifically because I know that he's going to be like a draft partner right here, because he's not going to lift. He's going to get into the back of me because he wants to wreck me right here. So I knew that was going to be my best opportunity to have the most speed in this Razor number 24 Chevrolet Camaro here for Gordon Hendrick. Now, as Ryan Blaney, our teammate in the number 25, recently eliminated from the playoffs, up here in the mix in the top 5 as well. Haley Deegan there in that number 4 for Stuart Haas Racing picked up her first career win earlier this season at the Brickyard 400 in what was a shock to the playoff grid now, and now here she is running well today in Talladega. Some contact there with the 22 of Logano. I was trying to side draft way too hard. He was trying to come down, and then I left the door wide open for the number 4 of Haley Deegan to go up the inside. Then I tried to force it up the right-hand side of Logano. We nearly come together and crash again like we did earlier in the day, and I backed out that time because I remembered what had happened in stage 1. So thank goodness I pulled that car out of that hole where it should not really have been. So unfortunately, though, we were 3 wide on the outside, looking for an opportunity to get back down to the inside. Lewis Hamilton having a really good run here today in Talladega, by the way. Now 2 laps to go in stage 2, running in the 12th position, right on the back of the number 25 of Ryan Blaney. Kyle Busch holding on to that final stage point. Eric Jones in the McLaren there up in front of the 25 now, as we're going to take a 3 wide up the middle there. Kind of left Blaney hanging, but I didn't really care at that point. We were trying to get a move on it and get into the top 10. Making a big move there to the right-hand side of Eric Jones as we start the final lap, but actually it looks like the number 7 is out of field. That could be a big hit to his playoff hopes right there. He shouldn't go a lap down, but either way, he gives up a chance of stage points. So Jones definitely out of field on this final lap. Now, you saw no smoke coming from that car, so there's no issues wrong with it now as we come through at a turn 2 going down the back straightaway, but that kind of really messed up the momentum, and now here we are in 13th down the back straightaway on this final lap of stage 2. Now is at 17 of Christopher Bell is actually going to jump all the way up to the top there. Big loss of momentum. I couldn't tell if he was running out of field or if he was just really losing momentum. But as we come through to turn 4 up the inside of Joey Logano, a chance for stage points, but the 48 right in front of us, he runs out of field. Now he stayed out at the end of the first stage. Caution actually comes out behind us. Couldn't find out exactly what had happened there, but that gives up the stage points now as William Byron wins stage 2. A playoff point for him, of course, that he doesn't actually get because he's not in the playoffs, but still wasn't too concerned because the guys that have to beat us and get stage points really weren't doing that other than Joey Logano. So we're going into this 3rd and final stage even without picking up stage points today in a comfortable position. So now as we get ready to come into the pit lane for 2 cans of fuel, 4 fresh tires, I did actually make a grill tape adjustment earlier and went from, I think it was 30% to 40%. So we actually gained 1 spot though, overtaking our teammate there of Alex Bowman, and now we'll be on the inside. Eric Jones still on the lead lap like I said, so he is not really in the worst case scenario now, so he's definitely going to be comfortably above that cut line still, because we still have those drivers below the cut line not getting the stage points like they need to. So this is really a missed opportunity for everybody below the cut line here today, like our teammate of Kyle Larson, Joey Logano, Harrison Burton, Derek Kraus, but it's been tremendous for us because we really haven't had the best race here in Talladega, so I cannot complain whatsoever now as we go down this back straightaway, this 3rd and final stage underway, coming to 14 laps to go. This time by Lewis Hamilton has, in my opinion, been the biggest surprise of the playoffs so far. We take him 4 wide into turn 3, by the way, with Rajah Caruth and Haley Deegan on the far outside, but Lewis Hamilton, he was really strong early in the season. He kind of fell off. That team, Mercedes and Lewis, did towards the end of the regular season, so I was surprised to actually see him actually get this far. And obviously in the last round of the playoffs with the Charlotte Roval as the elimination race in that first round, Lewis had to win to pretty much get in, and he did exactly that. He went into the Charlotte Roval and won that race, and he came into that race below the cut line. If he would have finished 2nd, he actually still would have gotten into the next round. So either way, he came into that round not looking very good. He's made it this far, and now he is going to comfortably, as it looks like right now, advance into the round of 8, and I did not expect that whatsoever. And you'll look at the round of 8, we have Mid-Ohio in that round. If Lewis Hamilton can win Mid-Ohio, he could find himself competing for a championship at Homestead Miami Speedway in the Final 4. And I remember earlier this season, Lewis actually put up a pretty good effort at Homestead Miami Speedway. So it's going to get very interesting as we are leading again here from Talladega. Suarez on my outside as we come through. Out of turn 2, Suarez not on my outside anymore as he goes around right in front of the field, and somehow that's not actually going to lead to a big crash. The caution comes out. He just kind of got pushed along, and now that's going to bring everybody back into the pit lane here for just a half a can of fuel, and no tires was going to be the call for me. But we got a very lucky break right there. Suarez was on my right rear quarter panel when he spun. If I would have been maybe 5 to 10 centimeters even, that's not much at all. If I was that much further to the right, we would have got hooked in that right rear quarter panel by Suarez and put head on into the wall, and we would have had a ton of damage now as we get ready to go back green, and it is going to be about 10 laps to go. Ty Gibbs and that Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota Camry just behind myself. I expect to see way better performances from him next season. Joe Gibbs Racing working very hard behind the scenes to get their team better overall for next season. Kyle Busch is the only second driver to actually win for that team this season other than Harrison Burton. Some rumors floating around in the career mode that going into our final season of the career mode next season, Kyle Busch actually might be considering retiring at the end of our NASCAR Heat 5 career mode now as we came through onto lap 39 down the back straightaway, just trying to cover off just one single lane right now with Ty Gibbs, but then it turns into two very quickly with Rajah Caruth there coming up to the back bumper of us, and now on lap 40, Gibbs has a lot of help from Matt DiBenedetto in that number 10 Stuart Haas Racing Ford Mustang, and he gets to our outside there, and it doesn't do much right off the bat, but then out of turns 4, I just have no connection whatsoever, and that allows the 11 to just blow my doors right off, and he goes by, and so does the 10 of Matt DiBenedetto. DiBenedetto, though, doesn't get up the inside and clear because we had just enough time to get a push from Caruth to get back up the inside there, and as we go down into turns 1, we're right on the back bumper again of Ty Gibbs, and I would waste no time as we came through out of turns 2 going down the back straightaway. I make a move back up the inside of Gibbs here and side draft him very hard right there, pull back to the inside double yellow line, and we have help again coming from behind with that 20 car, and Gibbs, he has no assistance yet whatsoever. So now back out in command here from Talladega now is Ryan Blaney a little bit later with 4 laps to go, making a move up the inside of that number 20 car as we go down into turns 3. You see 3 lanes again. Ross Chastain coming through the middle, and as we came through to cross the line with 3 to go, we have 3 lanes to cover the worst case scenario. I go up to block the top, and then the 25 of Ryan Blaney had to run at the same time. He gets up the inside, followed by Anthony Alfredo. We get a big push right there from Ross Chastain. Here comes Eric Jones, who ran out of fuel at the end of stage 2. He has finally worked his way back up to the front of this pack, now back into the mix now as we have a huge run on Alfredo. We're going to split it 3 wide in the middle now, and we should be able to clear Eric Jones just like that into turn 3 and back into second place here on the final closing laps of this race here. This elimination race, 8 drivers will remain at the end of today. Now there's smoke pouring out of the 25 of Ryan Blaney as we go down into turn 3. The caution's going to come out with 2 laps to go from the leader of Ryan Blaney, and that will give myself the lead as we approach overtime here from Talladega now, as I mean right now looking absolutely great for us here as we get ready to go green. So obviously the goal is very straightforward, just hold on to the win here. And I remember we gave up a restrictor plate victory at the very beginning of the season at Daytona for the Daytona 500, where I was too afraid to cover the top late in that race, and that gave up a Daytona 500 victory. So the goal here is to not do that again. Let's not repeat the process and try to hold on here and block every lane that we need to block, that is now. So we're back underway here for NASCAR overtime in the final 2 laps of the round of 12. 4 drivers about to get eliminated. It should be the same 4 that came into this race now, as we got CJ Mclaughlin in the number 78 car. The only time we ever see him up front is at a road course. Here he is right now at the end of this Talladega race, having a good, tremendous run, but you look behind us, no organization on the top lane, so right now it is playing perfect into our hands here as we come through 3 and 4 approaching this final lap now. We've won at Talladega before in the number 24 car with Gordon Hendrick Motorsports. We just seem to find a way to get ourselves into position to win at this track at least once per season now. So as we come through the tri-oval approaching the final lap, still 0 organization from the top lane as the final lap is now underway. So it's going to probably have to come from maybe third or fourth place there if anyone wants to be able to win. You got Christopher Bell in the 17, right there behind CJ Mclaughlin. You got the Red Bull of Christian Eckes. Bubba Wallace a little bit further back now. Eckes, I wouldn't be surprised if he makes a move. There it is right there. He does jump up to the top. He's got help, I believe, from the 21 of Anthony Alfredo. Bubba Wallace jumped up there as well. He tried to side draft the 17 of Christopher Bell. Even the 17 is now locked bumpers with the 78 of Mclaughlin. Are they going to have a run here as we come through Oval 3? And there's Eckes coming through with a run on the top as we exit turns 4. And it's actually going to be quite the big run. I'm going to go up to block it, and that leaves the door open for the 78 of Mclaughlin now as we make contact there. He's right on the double yellow line. I'm trying to force him down as much as I can. Side by side coming to the line of photo finish, but we win just barely in Talladega Super Speedway in a photo finish over the 78 of CJ Mclaughlin. There you see the timing difference right there. Eckes third, Bell fourth, and Alfredo rounds out the top 5. Zane Smith rounds out the top 10 as you see the rest of the finishing order. And all of the drivers that were coming into this race below the cut line just didn't do what they needed to do today here in the Alabama 500, especially Joey Logano and Kyle Larson, who finished 36th and 37th here as we get to do a burnout once again. It's actually been a little bit since we've got to do a burnout, so we know at least we got one more win with this Gordon Hendrick Motorsports team before we go to that Roush LeBron team next season. And going into next season, it's going to be very hard to win races for the first half of the season because it's going to be a 4-star team at the start of the season in our final season of the NASCAR 5 career mode. So we're going to be working on getting them built up to be a 5-star team like we are at Gordon Hendrick Motorsports. So we don't know when our last win is coming here in the NASCAR 5 career mode, so we've got to be thankful for that one right there in Talladega as you see Derek Kraus, Harrison Burton, Joey Logano, as well as Kyle Larson all eliminated from the playoffs. All of McLaren still remains. We're now the only Gordon Hendrick car in. Red Bull, AlphaTauri still are in. Mercedes as well as 2311 with Bubba Wallace. So my expectations is, I mean, if everything goes smoothly, I think it's going to be myself, Chase Elliott, Bubba Wallace, and Christian Eckes in the final 4. But all it takes is one of the other 4 drivers to just win one of these 3 races. I would not count out Lewis Hamilton winning at Mid-Ohio specifically. I legitimately think he has a serious chance of winning that one. He won the last road course, has had great average finishes here at the road courses this season. So it's going to be an interesting round with Kansas, Mid-Ohio, as well as Iowa. As always, if you guys enjoyed this episode and other ones, you know what to do. I'd like to thank you all for taking the time of your day to watch this episode, and let me know in the comments who you think is going to make it into the final 4 here in the career mode. So very excited to get that next round underway. As of course, before we do end this episode, I would like to say thank you to the Going Racing members on the channel of MJ, Joseph 9001, Timothy Arline, Bubba Jr., Brett Durward, Dark Gengar Gaming, AJ Vasura, Russell Dixon, Kenneth Barnett, Dana 9302, Speed Demon 341, as well as Illinois Diecast. Thank you guys so much for your support once again, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.